I've been good, man. Mentally, spiritually, I've been on top of my game. I'll be back out there. You hear me? This was Durkio calling in live to DJ Academic's stream, confident that he would be coming home soon. However, the courtroom proceedings paint a different picture. It turns out he's in deep trouble. He's still been denied bail, and his lawyer's motion to dismiss the case seems to be falling apart, despite the clear evidence. One piece of evidence allegedly presented to the grand jury is being claimed as entirely false. Behind the scenes, things are unraveling, and it's gotten so intense that there's talk of Durk storming out of the courtroom. Let's break down exactly what's going on with the alleged courtroom incident and the ongoing legal battles. Chicago drill legend Durk Devontae Banks is currently facing serious federal charges. He was arrested by the feds in October 2024 while attempting to board a private plane in Florida. The charges involve a murder-for-hire plot allegedly aimed at rapper Quando Rondo, which resulted in the death of Rondo's cousin, Savia Robinson, aka Lou Pab, in Los Angeles back in August 2022. Since his arrest, Durk has been stuck in county jail, denied bail despite his team offering substantial bond packages, including $2.3 million in equity and another $1 million in cash. That's a huge amount, highlighting just how serious these charges are. In November 2024, he pleaded not guilty to all the federal charges, with his trial initially scheduled for January 2025. But here's the kicker. Due to the complexity of the case, the trial has been delayed all the way until October 2025. Court documents reveal the massive amount of evidence that needs to be reviewed, over 230 gigabytes of digital files and 20,000 pages of paperwork. That's an overwhelming amount of documentation for both the prosecution and defense to sift through, which is why everything had to be pushed back for so long. Here's where Durk's legal journey stands now. On April 18, 2025, his lawyers filed a motion to dismiss the entire indictment, claiming the prosecutors played dirty by using his song lyrics as evidence. This is a major development in the case and brings attention to the ongoing debate over whether an artist's lyrics should be allowed as evidence in court. Durk's legal team specifically argued that the prosecutors made a critical factual error by using lyrics from a track Durk recorded 7 months before the shooting as evidence of premeditation. They claim this misrepresentation tainted the entire grand jury process. The motion gained significant attention, even being covered by the Chicago Sun-Times on April 19th. Looking ahead, there's a detention hearing scheduled for May 8, 2025, where Durk's legal team will try to secure his release before the trial. They're presenting a substantial bail package, which includes $1 million in cash, $1.9 million in real estate, and $1.15 million from an associate, along with 24/7 security and ankle monitoring. This hearing is critical for Durk, as it's his chance to get back to the streets while waiting for the October trial. To understand just how serious Durk's situation is, we have to consider the potential consequences. If convicted on these murder-for-hire charges, Durk could face life in prison. Some legal analysts have even raised the possibility of the death penalty, though that's still purely speculative at this stage. Beyond the criminal case, Durk is also facing civil challenges, including a wrongful death lawsuit filed in February 2025 by Savia Robinson's mother, Andrea Laquila Robinson. The lawsuit names Durk, his business manager, his record label Only the Family, OTF, and a related company as defendants. The lawsuit claims that Durk, his business manager, his record label Only the Family, OTF, and a related company all played a role in the murder that led to Robinson's death. Warren Postman, the lawyer representing Robinson's mother, stated, "The premature loss of Mr. Robinson has devastated his family and community. We filed this lawsuit to hold those responsible accountable and to ensure his family receives the support they need during this difficult time." This civil case adds even more legal pressure on Durk, stacking on top of the criminal charges he's already facing. And it's not the only wrongful death lawsuit he's dealing with. In October 2024, Lakina Weekly, the mother of FBG Duck, filed a lawsuit against Durk and King Von's estate, claiming they were responsible for the gang-related shooting that took her son's life on August 4, 2020, while he was shopping in Chicago's Gold Coast. This lawsuit extends beyond just Durk and King Von's estate, also naming their record labels, the City of Chicago, Dolce & Gabbana, 2 private security firms, and the 6 individuals already convicted in the shooting earlier in 2024. It accuses Durk's label of being a criminal enterprise, claiming they were aware of King Von's feud with FBG Duck and profited from the violence surrounding it. Roosevelt. Allen III, the lawyer representing FBG Duck's mother, was blunt when discussing the case, stating, "Without a doubt, Lil Durk, OTF, King Von, and Oblak, a criminal organization, could never have achieved international fame or become so emboldened to kill a rival musician without the promotion, distribution, and financial backing provided by these record companies." But there's even more to Durk's legal troubles than just the murder-for-hire case and wrongful death lawsuits. Prosecutors have also hinted at his possible involvement in another murder in Chicago, accusing him of putting money on people's heads for other killings, including targeting a witness's family member. While these allegations haven't led to official charges yet, they've added fuel to the fire and were a key reason why the judge decided to keep him locked up. Court documents reveal that prosecutors believe a January 2022 murder was tied to revenge for the death of Durk's brother Dang, who was killed outside a strip club in June 2021. A federal informant allegedly told authorities that Lil Durk has been, and continues to, offer money for the murders of those responsible for his brother's death. More specifically, he is said to be offering payments for the killing of any gangster disciple. For many, this isn't a huge shock considering Durkio's long history with the law, his time in prison, and past legal issues. Before his October 2024 arrest, Lil Durk already had an extensive criminal record. His first major run-in with the system occurred in 2011, when he was hit with a weapons charge. According to street reports, Durk served around 3 months for possessing a firearm with the serial number scraped off. The specifics of this situation are unclear, with some sources suggesting that those 3 months might have just been pretrial detention, followed by a plea deal where he pled guilty to a reduced charge of aggravated unauthorized use of a weapon. This early run-in with the law didn't seem to deter Durk from the streets. Just 2 years later, in 2013, he found himself in trouble again. On June 5, 2013, Durk was arrested after allegedly tossing a loaded .40 caliber handgun into his car when police approached him on South Green Street in Chicago. He was charged with unlawful use of a weapon by a felon. He was held on a $100,000 bond, and his lawyer claimed to have 9 affidavits from witnesses supporting Durk's innocence. One witness even admitted that the gun was theirs. Durk was released on July 18, 2013. These early legal troubles appeared to be a turning point for Durk, as it seemed like he was trying to turn his life around. In a significant public statement, Durk took to social media to announce that all his felony cases had been cleared, writing, "Everybody deserves a second chance at life. It's all about what you do with it. Alhamdulillah, my record's clean now. I'm no longer a felon. Who would have thought? I want to thank everyone who supported my vision and helped me get here. Thank you from the bottom of my heart." This wasn't the only time Durk publicly expressed his desire to turn his life around. On August 18, 2024, just a couple of months before his October arrest, Durk shared a heartfelt statement on Instagram. He reaffirmed his commitment to his Muslim faith and made it clear he was distancing himself from gang life. His post read, "Don't label me anything other than a man, a father, and a 1000% Muslim." He followed up with another post stating, "I don't gangbang. I'm a Muslim." He continued, "What I'm saying in a nutshell is, you can't do both and still claim to be the one who says it. So if you rock with me as a brother, a friend, or an icon, join me in this new chapter of my life. When I make music or rap, I'm sharing what I've seen and been through, not telling you to go out and do it. That's a huge difference," Durk explained. "The music won't change, but my life goals will." These statements of personal growth were backed up by Durk's actions, including his efforts to give back to the community. In 2020, he launched the Neighborhood Heroes Foundation, a nonprofit aimed at uplifting and empowering people who are working to bring positive change to their neighborhoods. The foundation concentrated on education, community development, and social justice efforts. One of Durk's most innovative charitable moves was using his music earnings to support the foundation's mission. He announced that a portion of the royalties from his track Bedtime would be donated directly to the Neighborhood Heroes Foundation. Teaming. Up with Amazon Music, Durk launched the Durk Banks Endowment Fund, a college tuition initiative aimed at providing scholarships to Chicago students for Howard University. This collaboration led to significant financial support, including a $250,000 donation to Howard's financial aid program, the Grace Grant. Despite his positive contributions, Durk's legal troubles continued to mount. Since his October 2024 arrest, he's been held at the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, in Los Angeles, where he's been for roughly 6 months as of April 29, 2025. His time in detention hasn't been without issues. As reports suggest, he's been violating jail rules, particularly by making unauthorized three-way phone calls. According to reports, prosecutors submitted a sealed exhibit outlining Durk's rule violations, using them as evidence to oppose his release before trial. These violations have likely complicated his legal strategy and diminished his chances for pre-trial release. Despite these setbacks, Durk has remained committed to his music, continuing to stay active in his hustle even from behind bars. On March 18, 2025, Rolling Stone reported that Lil Durk's team revealed the upcoming album Deep Thoughts, set to release on March 28, 2025. The announcement included a trailer featuring producers on the phone with Durk from behind bars, along with an AI-generated album cover showing him in a graffiti-covered jail cell. In the trailer, Durk expressed his belief that "the streets still need me," highlighting his determination to maintain his influence and connection with his fans, despite his current situation. Lil Durk's legal drama has only grown more intense as his situation unfolds. The rapper has been at the center of a murder-for-hire conspiracy, involving a tragic death that struck close to the heart of his ongoing feud with Quando Rondo. The target of the alleged plot was Rondo himself, though it was his cousin, Savaya. Lou Pab Robinson, who lost his life in Los Angeles back in August 2022. The prosecutors are making the case that Durk orchestrated this hit as retaliation for the murder of his friend and fellow artist, King Von, which was linked to Rondo's camp. Durk now faces a slew of federal charges, including conspiracy to commit murder for hire, as well as firearms offenses. If convicted, he could be facing life behind bars. Some legal experts are even speculating that the death penalty could be on the table, although that's still up in the air. The evidence against Durk is no joke, with a mountain of documentation and digital evidence adding to the pressure. There's over 230 gigabytes of data, which includes phone records, surveillance footage, witness statements, and even medical reports. Key pieces of evidence include bank and flight records showing that individuals linked to Durk traveled from Chicago to California before the fatal shooting. A video places Durk in Los Angeles around the time of the incident, adding further weight to the prosecution's case. What's adding fuel to the fire is how song lyrics have entered the legal debate. Durk's legal team is fighting back, filing a motion to dismiss the charges on April 18, 2025, arguing that the prosecution improperly used his lyrics as evidence of premeditation. They argue that the song Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy was recorded months before the shooting, and that fan-edited versions of the track shouldn't be taken as factual evidence. The prosecution, on the other hand, claims that the song was altered after the shooting to include news footage of Quando Rondo's response to the murder, further complicating the case. While the focus remains on the 2022 murder of Lou Pab, there are more sinister allegations hanging over Durk. Prosecutors are claiming he may be tied to a second unsolved murder in Chicago in 2022, and suggesting that Durk might have placed financial bounties on his enemies. One of these supposed targets is the family of a key witness in the case, a terrifying extension of the alleged violence that has been tied to Durk's operations. One of the murders allegedly linked to Durk involved the death of his brother, Dang, who was shot outside a strip club in June 2021. The investigation has also pointed to 2 men allegedly involved in a murder-for-hire plot connected to this incident. Court documents reveal that Durk might have been involved in paying these men to carry out the crime. Text messages between suspects seem to support this theory, with one of the accused asking, "Did Durk give you that money?" Furthermore, some unsettling evidence has surfaced on social media, including reports of one suspect being spotted at a Durk music video shoot shortly after Dang's death. Durk's legal woes have been compounded by a range of lawsuits as well, including one filed in February 2025 by the mother of Lupab, who accuses Durk of funding the hit that killed her son. Another wrongful death suit has been filed by FBG Duck's mother, Lasha Weekly, who alleges that Durk was responsible for the death of her son in 2020. These cases add more layers to Durk's already strained public image and underline the severity of the charges he faces. Despite all this, Durk has found support from many corners, including his fellow artists and close collaborators like Hypno Caro. Caro has been vocal in defending Durk, citing his loyalty and the positive impact he has had on others. Others, like Young Chop and Beachia Lyrical McCulley, have also backed Durk, emphasizing his role in promoting change and representing Black Chicago in the music world. The question remains whether Durk can turn things around, with his legal team still pushing for a bail hearing in the hope of securing his release before trial. In the meantime, Durk continues to fight for his freedom while staying active in the music industry, with a new album dropping even while he's locked up. The battle for his future continues, but the road ahead remains unclear. As the legal drama surrounding Lil Durk intensifies, there's been a lot of buzz about potential informants in the case, with one name repeatedly surfacing: Jam. Jam, a longtime associate of Durk, has been accused by some of being a rat for the feds. This came to light after Chicago rapper King Yella, affiliated with the Gangster Disciples, aired the accusations on social media, calling out someone named F. Jim, who allegedly acknowledged the accusations by saying, "Okay, I'm a rat. Well, watch this." The significance of these accusations is deepened by Jam's relationship with Durk. Jam, whose real name is Casey J. Hester, has a complicated history with the rapper. After serving 12 years for attempted murder, Jam was released from prison in February 2022, and Durk supported him, even giving him money to get back on his feet. Jam was quick to defend himself on social media, stating that the claims of him being a rat are baseless until someone presents paperwork to prove it. But things took a twist when Jam claimed that Durk might have indirectly dry snitched on him in a song. Specifically, Jam pointed to the track Back Again, where Durk raps, "Jam get out that jam, I give him 50, ain't gotta ask again." He was catching murders way back then. Jam insists that after Durk mentioned his past in the song, law enforcement began watching him more closely. According to him, the lyrics led the authorities to believe he was involved in criminal activity, triggering heightened surveillance. Jam posted, "Who snitched on who? He snitched on me on a song." In an interview, Jam confirmed that Durk did help him financially after his release, but he also expressed concern that Durk's lyrics might have placed him back in the spotlight of law enforcement. The whole situation raises questions about how much influence music, especially lyrics, can have on legal outcomes, particularly when they're used as evidence in criminal investigations. But Jam isn't the only one bringing accusations of snitching. Another affiliate of Durk's, known as Win, took to Instagram to accuse multiple individuals of cooperating with the authorities. Win posted photos of two people, Marlon Kirsch and Karen Hollins, with the caption "or a wire on," suggesting that these individuals may have been involved in recording conversations for law enforcement. These claims, if true, would add another layer of complexity to Durk's already complicated legal situation, as they suggest that conversations from within Durk's inner circle could have been intercepted and used as evidence against him. The situation is further complicated by the controversial use of song lyrics as evidence in the case. Prosecutors have used Durk's lyrics from the song Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy to argue that the rapper had premeditated the murder-for-hire plot. Durk's defense team, however, argues that the song was recorded months before the events in question and shouldn't be used to suggest that Durk was planning the crime. The lyrics were altered after the shooting to include a clip of news footage, but Durk's lawyers argue that the modification wasn't his doing, as the fan-edited version of the song isn't an accurate reflection of his intent. This use of music as evidence is drawing comparisons to other high-profile cases, like Young Thug's ongoing RICO trial, where prosecutors also relied on lyrics to make their case. Critics, including experts like Eric Nielsen, warn against taking artistic expression too literally in court, arguing that it disregards the complex and metaphorical nature of hip-hop music. Durk's case isn't just about his music, it's a window into the blurred lines between street culture and the music industry, as well as the question of loyalty among those close to him. On one hand, Durk has built a public image as a philanthropist, founding the Neighborhood Heroes Foundation and donating to causes like education. On the other hand, his legal troubles paint a much darker picture, including allegations of orchestrating a murder for hire, along with the accusation of being part of a violent street culture. This contrast between his public image and his alleged actions reflects broader themes of redemption, accountability, and the struggle of leaving behind the street life even after achieving success. Durk's journey, his attempts to leave behind his past while maintaining his ties to a community that shaped him, captures the tension that many artists face when trying to redefine themselves in the spotlight. As the case continues, it highlights the ongoing issues surrounding the intersection of the law, music, and street culture, raising questions about where the boundaries lie and how much influence one's past truly has over their future.